things about St. Kitts. For those of you who have never been here, you need to come. It's that we always have that breeze. Although it's hot, we always have that breeze. You go to Antigua, it's a dense heat. St. Martin, dense heat. But when you come to St. Kitts, always have that breeze that makes the difference. Although it's hot, you perspire, but you can be assured that you have that cooling system still. So it's not always that bad. And those of you who understand the fact that we're having a heat wave, we understand the importance of hydration, meaning that you have to drink as much fluid as possible, keep your body hydrated, because dehydration is a serious, serious problem. It is not just that your body doesn't have enough liquid. It can pose some serious problems, and I know the ordinary man doesn't understand that, and I don't think we have enough forums or discussions on the dangers of dehydration. Situations like this, as I always say, when you have certain situations, people have to be notified and educated and informed of what are the possibilities of something happening and what they can do. You're in tune, I said, to WINN FM 98.9. It's the time that we air Your Views. Your Views is a program that is aired on WINN FM every Friday morning. I'm your host, Andrew Quilly-Atherton. Usually, it's a program that you can call in, and if you have information, because we try to stick with the facts, we don't deal with assumptions and belief. You have to know. So don't call me and say you believe. You have to know. Knowing means that you have to experience it. If you haven't experienced it, then I can't have that discussion with you, unfortunately. And that is how it is. I believe that sometimes I bring guests in who have the information, and they can inform people properly, inform people. Sometimes I'm on my own, like this morning, and I would open the lines again because we have to have this discussion. It is a discussion that I don't want to have, but it's a discussion that is necessary. And for those of you who are looking for political mileage, this is not the time to tune in. And those of you who looking to victimize and mute and dumb people down, this is not the program. For those of you who really want information and who have a good understanding of what is happening and who really care, not just about you, but your family, your friends, your neighbors, then this is the program that you have to listen to. And I want to have other experiences, not just my experience, because sometimes people might say, based on your political situation, in St. Kitts, everything is political. People don't understand the seriousness or the problems that have been created. If you open your mouth, when unity was in power, you never used to say nothing. These are the kind of things that you have a serious problem. When unity was in power, I spoke the truth. I said what they were doing. I would have experienced that, so that those were facts. I don't talk about people and their personalities. That is not politics. And so politics, for me, it would affect all of us. It's about our economy. It's about our health. It's about our social programs. For me, that is politics. Not you calling in and talking about people and their personalities. I don't discuss those things because we are all human and none of us are perfect. And so I don't delve in those areas. If a man is doing well, and I feel that he's doing the best that he can, I am going to say he's doing well. If he's not doing well, I'm going to say he's not doing well. But that is, and I don't make comparisons, because at the end of the day, one promise they're going to do better, and you're held to that. Because the reason why we would have changed government is because we were not satisfied with what the other one was doing. And so we are not going to accept any less or the same, because the same was a problem. And that is one of the reasons why people change government. So don't come and tell me, Unity was doing it, or Labour did it then. No. If Labour did it then and it was wrong, and Unity do it, it is still wrong. So it's the same thing. If Unity did it then and it was wrong, and Labour is doing it now, it is still wrong. And this is for the electorates. We are too politically blinded. And that is one of the issues. I have a situation, and this is a serious situation. It is non-political. It would affect all of us. I was called yesterday, and I was told my brother was hospitalized. I spoke to him. I realized that he couldn't speak, very inaudible. I couldn't understand what he was saying. I rushed to the hospital. No, before that, I asked to speak to a nurse who took all the information, and I put my name down as the person that you can contact. And this is my information. This is my story. For those of you who have your story, and your story that you're going to have, it has to be an experience. I don't want to hear no them say and who say, because this is very serious. I journeyed to the hospital, and while at the hospital, they told me that I asked what the problem was. Nobody seemed to know what the problem was, but they were waiting for a CT scan. That did not happen. Nobody told me that I would have had to come and pay for the scan before it happened, but that's trivial. Paid for the scan, waited. What was the problem? All the vital signs was okay. It seemed as though he was having a stroke. That was an assumption, because the information, of course, and I appreciate the fact the information wasn't forthcoming yet. The scan wasn't read, and so they didn't know what the problem was, and I appreciate that. And I must talk about the positive. The scan, everything went accordingly. I asked the doctor, because he came from the beach, and I asked the doctor, have anybody given him any water? Because I'm not a doctor, not a medical doctor, but like everybody else, for me, my body is mine, and I'm supposed to know if anything is wrong, how to fix it. So the same books the doctors would have read, same books I would have read, and I suppose we can all analyze, because people think doctors are superhuman, but if you realize that they're still practitioners, doctors are still practicing. And medicine will always be practiced, because everybody is different, and so therefore it's not a one-size-fits-all. And these are the things that we have to understand. Doctors are not superhuman, and we shouldn't expect that from them. The first thing is the hospital is filthy. I want to take a deep breath, because I really don't want to get anxious, because I would say things that I don't want to say. The hospital is filthy. You have to wear a mask on the inside. I do understand that. No hand sanitizers or anywhere along the walls, so you can even sanitize before you go in. People go in and out. You have a mask, you put it under your nose. Nobody's monitoring it. The areas, it's an accident and emergency. When you go into those stalls, I call them stalls because they look like stalls, it's awful. And I'm going to say it again, this has nothing to do with politics, Dr. Ju. It has nothing to do with you individually, because people say that Labour people, it has nothing to do with your party. I am telling you what the situation is, and all of us are going to be affected, whether we are Unity, PLP, Labour, PAM, we all are going to be affected if the situation is not rectified. The health of a nation is the wealth of a nation. And these are the things that we understand. You can say as much as you want when you're outside. When you get inside, it's about proving yourself. And let me tell you, up there is awful. It is, and I'm not saying it as bad as it looks. It is awful. You go inside, and the patient is lying on a bed. And this is a patient who was getting a stroke, who's supposed to be getting a stroke. I asked the doctor, did you all give him any water since he came in? No, nothing, absolutely nothing. He was not hooked up to anything. The only thing I saw, there was a shunt there to show that blood was taken, or they prepared him in the event that he has to take IV. I couldn't ask him anything because, like I said, he couldn't speak. So I asked him whether or not they gave him water or anything, nothing. And this is, I'm telling you, this is after 10 in the morning. The patient was admitted to the hospital at minutes to 8. I can't tell you exactly, but the time he called me was about 10 minutes to 8, and he was there before, because he normally goes to swimming, and so he got there before. After 10, no water, no juice. How was his vitals? Everything was fine. Blood sugar levels, good. Blood pressure, good. So can you all just give him a little water then? I mean, if he's getting a stroke and your body is dehydrated, your blood is getting thicker, the chances of things becoming worse is very, very high. So can I give him some water? No. Why? Because the internists who haven't seen him yet said no. Or they're not aware of what the problem is. Okay. 10:30, I couldn't take it anymore. I said, you know what? I am going to ask again. I don't know. As a matter of fact, you don't know who are nurses up there. You don't know who are doctors. Nurses can't speak English. Doctors don't speak English, neither good eh? So that is another problem. So that was one of the issues that you have, that language barrier. Let me tell you something, and this is no joke. that hospital is like one of those, and I don't want to call any country's name because I don't want to bring him to that level, but these are one of the pictures that America would show to show the state, the dilapidated state, and the state of the economies in the third world countries. It was awful. So he said, I said, Doc, can I give him some? No, he said he's not a doctor, he's a nurse. I said, can I give him some water? He said, yes, but make sure it's with a straw. I said, can I get him some orange juice then? He said, yes. The doctor was asking about, I told the doctor he has a history, he was hospitalized. Can you refer to his charts? I mean, the information that you have there, the data that you would have collected when he was there. Can you refer to that? You have to know the year, you have to know the month at least, so that they can look. Isn't it isn't it digitalized? Can you just put in your name and that information comes up? I was to tears. Trust me, it's the fear that you have when you see and you have an understanding of what can happen. It's that fear that you have in your stomach, that gut feeling that you have. Listen, you have to act now, otherwise. So I rushed my daughter out to get some water and a bottle of orange juice. You do or die. Gave him the orange water, gave him some orange juice, use a straw. Of course, you understand if a patient is having a stroke, then you can't give them water to gulp because your brain is not functioning. You know what's going to happen. You think that you have difficulty swallowing. But I realized that was not the problem. My brother, who was having a stroke, called me on my telephone. The only thing he couldn't do was talk. So I knew then it was not as bad as one would have perceived. He could have made a face. I asked him to stand up. He stood up. There was no numbness. There was nothing. So I assumed that it could have been a situation where, because I know he doesn't drink water, I know he came from the beach, I know he rode his bike home, so I assumed that it could have been a situation where he might have been dehydrated. He grabbed it, and I said, no, you have to sip it, what he did. And let me tell you something, in 25 to 30 minutes, and I kid you not, in 25 to 30 minutes, I asked my brother again, you having any pain? And he said, no. Anywhere hurting you? No. Can you make a face? Yes. This is a man who could not talk. When I told you all nothing was done, no water was given, he was just lying there, no doctor saw him, the information was just taken on a chat, waiting until 2 o'clock until the information comes. This is serious. This is very serious. A bottle of orange juice and a bottle of water made a difference. When people tell you people are dying in the hospital and no one have an understanding of why, negligence. And I'm going to say it. I've seen it. I'm not assuming it. I've seen it. Negligence. A bottle of water and a bottle of orange juice made a difference. In an hour's time, my brother was audible. He was no longer confused, and he could have said what the problem was. You understand? 1 hour's time. If, for argument's sake, he didn't have anybody, if for argument's sake, nobody went up there, what would have happened? Okay, 2 o'clock, I call, I ask, have you had anything to eat yet? Because he was there since morning. Have you given them any water yet? No. Have you had anything to eat yet? No. This is a hospital where sick people are. You go up and you ask information, nobody have any information. You're talking about from minutes to 7 until after 2. I went and I begged. I was one of the most humblest person, which is not normal, because normally that would have ticked me off and all hell would have broken loose. Because I have rights. We all have rights. And I don't have anybody to protect. But I knew that my brothers, your hand was in the lion's mouth. And it was just that moment. You had to, information was necessary. 3 o'clock, you were given anything to eat? No. Just the water that I gave you? Yes. And the orange juice? Yes. To rush down, get some coconut water. Okay? They said, do not bring anything from the outside. This is a man who's supposed to be having a stroke, huh? But they allow me to bring food, and I'm going to say it, they allow me to bring food to give him. Can you tell me? This is a man who would have had to have special needs, an IV, if you want to give him water, because if you're having a stroke, your brain is not functioning, you can't swallow, and so therefore intravenously is where that's how they're going to feed you. Fluids were necessary. None. Up to now. Up to 4 o'clock, up to minutes to 5 yesterday. No IV. Hospital didn't provide anything, no food, no water. And Dr. Drew, this is a lesson. This is information that you should use. I'm not saying you did because you were not there, but this is what is happening at the hospital. People don't like to be criticized, and this is not criticizing. This is stating facts. If you felt the procedures were wrong and bad, fix it. Those of you who are supporters and think that I'm attacking your party that is in power, wait until your turn comes. Because the good thing about it is a hospital that we all are going to use. I don't see in any... You're fixing roads, kudos to you. The hospital has things, I thought they were, the windows are covered with, I thought was tarpaulin. There are no sheets. You have paper. I mean, listen, I think I need to breathe. You go into the room, it's not even clean. No sterilization, nothing is sterile up there. And people are sick. There's no area you can wash your hand in or wash your hand when you're coming out. No hand sanitizers. After 5, they said he was going to be admitted to the ward. Nobody called me. My information was up there. Nobody called. I had to call to find out. And let me tell you something. Calling JNF, before you can get into there, it takes you well over an hour. And this is no joke. This is no joke. Because you can't sit in there because, of course, you're outpatient and things are happening. The doctors and nurses, whoever they are, they sit by the station. You walk in, you ask the question, nobody seems to have any information. I don't know who are doctors, who are nurses, I don't know what they do. And this is something that we have to take seriously. I don't know when, I don't see that being fixed in the near future, but accident and emergency, that is critical cases that come to there, it's awful. Very, very, very awful. I remember when I spoke about it one time when I went to the hospital and there was a lady, she brought her husband in and she said he was breathing very deeply. And I asked, I said, what? Because I wanted to make sure, see whether or not he should go in before me if he was a critical case. And I asked her, what's wrong with your husband? She said she don't know, but he seems as though he's coming down with a stroke. I said, well, okay, let me tell the nurse so that they can look after you first. I walked to the back and I told the nurse there's a case out here. She said she was going to come. That was a long time. That's about, how many years ago? About 7, 8 years ago. Yeah, Unity was in power. And I said, I went to the back and I told him there's a case out here, seems critical. I kid you not, we were there for about an hour and 20 minutes. I said to the lady, Miss, your husband doesn't seem as though he's here. She said, he breathing funny. I went back to the back. I called the nurse. I said, nurse, there's a case out here. It's serious. Can you come and look? It seems as though the person is in a coma. She says, oh, we don't have a nurse to every patient. And that was the attitude. I'm saying this because this has been going on for too long. Every party that's campaigned is about our healthcare system. It's always top. Priority would be given there. It's still the same. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. I don't know what it was like. And like I said, I can't talk about what I didn't see. I would have been making assumptions. So people who would have had the information can come out and talk. I am talking about what I've seen now. This morning I called after 9. I asked my brother, have you had breakfast yet? No. Call the nurse, call the hospital, got through after about how many tries. And I asked the nurse, it's after 9. This is a patient who who she said, the reason why he haven't had anything to eat because he had some blood work done. Blood works were done early this morning. And 2 hours later, nothing. I called back again. I said, you had anything? No. At 9:30, 25 minutes to 10 just before I came on the radio, I asked, so what you had for breakfast? Oh, some tea and bread and Vienna sausage. Vienna sausage, how was it done? Straight out of the tin? There's nothing on it? No. Onions, there's nothing, straight into the bread and some tea. That's a hospital. That's a hospital? Where nutrition, your health depends on proper nutrition? That's a hospital. That's a person who was getting a stroke diet. And I am not criticizing. This is not criticizing. This is stating a fact. And people have to realize that that's where your mother is going to go. Your sister is going to go. There's these people who are in charge. When they get sick, they jump on a plane and they travel to the United States. We still don't have the insurance that was going to allow us to do that, the privilege to do that. So when we get sick, not me, I'm going to ask them to carry me down by Ross because they do a very good job down there. You go down there, and honestly, if you see where they carry, they hold the dogs, the animals, trust me, if you can't get a good night's sleep, go down and ask them. When you compare Ross University clinics to JNF, state of art in comparison to what we have up there. And that's a fact. And this is not a just now thing, huh? It's a long time thing. I am saying that we have to demand more. All of these photo ops, government feels like whenever they do something, somebody has to see that they would have done it. All of these photo opportunities, it's not necessary. That is why we voted you in. And that is why people vote people out, governments out. So you're not doing us a favor, you're doing what you're supposed to do. But we as Kittitians and Nivisians, we sit back and we allow, and that is why I say all along, this overseas people coming in and vote, it sickens me to my stomach because when they are back in America and they're sick, they can cheat Medicare, they can cheat everything, government pay for everything, and they are in a proper hospital. And we, after you done jump on a plane and do what you have to do, you jump on a plane, you go back, and we are stuck with JNF. And you say it's normal and it's okay? These are the problems that we are having. And these are things that have to be fixed now. Governments have to learn to prioritize. You say you could do the work, you ask for the job. Mr. Prime Minister, the Ministry of Health is too much for you. You have big areas. You have the Ministry of National Security. You have the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Finance. It is too big for you. It's too big a ministry. And if you're going to do that, then you have to have competent people, permanent secretaries who are going to do the work. The hospital is in chaos. You open the door and there are things that they don't want, I would suppose, and you don't know whether it's a storeroom, a junk room, or a room that you have for storage. It's awful. It is awful. And this is not a joke. We once boasted one of the best healthcare system in the Caribbean. People used to come to St. Kitts because of what we had. What we have now. You go to the hospital and people lying down, people need their privacy. You can see everything that is happening. I said to everybody, people, I always tell people, in this day and age, in this era of education, there are a lot of people who go away and study, and everybody wants to do medicine, eh? But trust me, 95%, hear what I said, 95, I was going to say 99. 95% of those who go away to study, there are means and ways of Google helping you, giving you all of the AI, artificial intelligence that is taking over the world. That is what is helping them to become doctors. They don't know what's going on. They pass the exams, not because they know, but they have been assisted. That is how people are passing now. So people coming around with papers and certificates and degrees, I don't respect them. How much of them are genuine? How much of them understand what they're supposed to do? So when you are taking out people who have experience and replacing them people who are supposed to be qualified, think twice. That is why we're in the position that we're in. These lazy-minded young people who are going out and coming back don't want to do any schoolwork, getting everything done for them by artificial intelligence, which is now taking over the world. And that is why we are going to be replaced by machinery. Because humans have become too lazy-minded. We are too accepting. We accept the worst. What we do, we destroy, not build. And I'm not afraid to say it, because it's a fact. We can do better than this. We have to do better than this. Everybody wants to change government because they feel it's their turn to benefit. Not because they think that the country is not doing well, because they think that it's their turn to benefit. I see some real dummies. I'm not going to call them dummies. They're placed in positions that they don't know what to do. And it's a fact because you support a political party. Nobody can say Sandra was. I wasn't placed anywhere. And that is a fact. People who can do the work, they can't, then they send them home. People who would have had the experience, they send them home. Bring them with people because they support you. They're qualified, they said. Understand what's going on in the universities if you don't know what's happening. 95, I'm going to say 98% of those people are coming back now. Ask them which site they go to get information from. They don't know anything. And that is what my fear is. When I have had discussions with doctors up there, never studied medicine in my life. But trust me, when they ask me a question, I can answer. But when I ask them a question, they can't answer. And I'm not boasting. It's a fact. You ask them a question and look at you like, what language are you talking? Medicine. It's fearful. It's frightening. I sat with a lady who told me her husband died. Now, you're telling me an internist is giving you information from home? The internists have not seen. I've had an experience, and I spoke about it on my show. I went to the hospital. My pressure was high, and they were giving me, they were treating me for hypertension, they said. I explained to them the same thing. Just give me some solution, some saline, some hydrating fluids, because I think that's what my problem is. I know my body. But instead, they gave me a tablet under my tongue, and it caused me to urinate. Just you go to the bathroom every 2 minutes. You need to go. I said to them, no, this is not working. I'm losing too much electrolytes, and if my pressure is high, it's going to get worse because my body needs potassium, magnesium, and calcium, especially potassium. I started to cramp up. I said, look, I am cramping. It means that this is the problem. They run some tests, came back. I asked the doctor, can I see it then? Because you said everything is okay. But why am I cramping like this? Something is wrong. I need electrolytes. Give me some salt water because I'm urinating too fast. He said, you need to relax. You need to relax. I said, yeah, but how can I relax? And my body, I'm agitated because my electrolytes levels are low. This is why I can't relax. He wanted to give me a tablet that would make me relax, Valium. I said, no, I don't want it. Oh, if you want to diagnose, if you want to look after yourself, you'll have to do that. I said, send me home. I can do a better job. They warded me. I had the doctor who was giving information and instructions didn't see me. They brought some medication. I said, listen, I am not taking any medication until I see the doctor. How can you prescribe something and you don't know what's happening? That was my first experience. And let me tell you something, a little bit of information goes a long way. When the doctor came, I said, listen, if you think I'm having high blood pressure, my pressure is so high, and it's a serious problem, and it's risky, how come nobody even give me an aspirin? Why would you want to give me Valium? He said, they didn't give you an aspirin? No. These are the things, and people who do not know, I am sorry. and you want to say, oh, Sandra always talking because you're politically blinded, go right ahead. Your turn is going to come. That's one of the good things about JNF. It's for all of us. And so if it is good, all of us benefit. If it's bad, all of us suffer. It is sad because when somebody dies, they can't come back. That is the sad thing. I'm going to open the lines and I'm going to hear other people's experience, but I want experiences. I don't want anybody who's going to come. This is not political. And I don't want anybody who's going to get political mileage from this. So if that is what you're coming from, don't call in. Because I'm not in the best of mood right now either. So let's have the discussion. Let us see how we can make that change, that positive change, that change that is really needed. And not a change that would influence others to go out and say negative things. We need to get it done now. The numbers that you can call is 662-0989-762-0989 or 466-0989. If you want to be a part of the program, you can call in and we can have that discussion. And I said, we have a call. Let's take this call. Caller, you're live on Your Views.
Hello. Good morning, Sandra.
Hi, good morning.
How are you?
I can't get any better. Trust me.
Okay, darling. I just able to dry up my tears from last Friday. When I didn't hear you, tears were coming out my eyes.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I couldn't talk. And so that was one of the issues I had. I've been nursing this. You can still hear it. This sore throat. I don't know where it's coming from, but I just couldn't talk.
Oh, you got the sore foot in your throat.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I've tried everything. I've tried.
Yeah, no, we go on.
Yes, and resting was one of the best things. So I rested it, and now I can talk today.
Yeah, you know what Granny used to do, and my mother when I was a little boy, and anyone of us got sore throat, they get a little piece of white Vaseline, and they heat it over the lamp.
Mm-hmm.
They put it on my tongue and just swallow that.
Swallow that, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, and the Vaseline soothe whatever it is. But anyway,
mm-hmm.
Talking about this hospital thing, Sandra, you know, I think it was 2020. Yeah, 2020, I went to the hospital there. And I don't suffer from hypertension.
Mm-hmm.
All I have is diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was up there about 3 hours, and they pushed me in a room there. And they had me in there for a while because they were going to do something on me, and then the doctor changed his mind. And while I was in there, I know when the signs of when my sugar going low.
Mm-hmm.
I was sweating like a water pipe. And I feel bad and weak and hungry, so I called the nurse to over there. And this isn't a little common nurse, you know. This is a nurse with a karate belt on.
Okay.
I said, nurse, please for something sweet. My sugar going low. I need it right now. Here, you can't drink nothing now. I said, why? She said, because we have to carry you in there for x-ray. I said, but my sugar going up my body. If I die, you can't come in there for no x-ray.
Thank you.
A low sugar can kill me, put me in a coma. Once a low sugar put you in a coma, that's it.
Yep.
It's easier to pull on a high sugar than to pull up a low sugar.
Yep.
And then my wife hear me in there talking hard, and she come in and she say, what? And she say, wait. No, see sugar down low. You see how we wet down with sweat? And it's a good thing that my wife to work with sweet. Good. And she had some orange juice in the bag, and she bring it and she give me, and she drink, and I drink it, and I feel strong again. And then the perspiration just absorb and it gone. And my wife tell the nurse out there what she got to say.
That's it.
She said, listen, when you hear people sugar low, you can't tell them wait. You got to go and give them something to bring it up. The patient himself know what have him in that condition.
Exactly.
So how is it she gonna say, well, wait a while, she can't give me nothing. So if my wife never outside and hear me, I would have dead. Dead. Look how they're in head.
X-raying a dead man.
Yeah. So therefore, a lot of them up there, they what they perform is more negligence.
Yep.
Whether they know or they don't know, they put negligence in front.
Wow.
When they don't care, they want to tell you, the patient, you ain't eat nothing, not drink nothing for hours. And they tell you, oh, we can't give you nothing because we running tests and running that. Running what? Give somebody, if the sugar low, give them something sweet. If it is not sugar problem, you give them some water, not ice water.
But a doctor...
And let them sip it on the tongue. Don't swallow the gulp. say something.
But doctors would understand if you take a sweet and you said the sugar levels rises, because you would have just had something sweet. So you know what range you're supposed to be in. So it doesn't matter if you take it now or later. You know what range it's supposed to be. So if you take it and it carried up, you know that you're diabetic, and so you understand that you had to take something sweet. I don't understand
right. Anyway, time is short and I want somebody to come in. If nobody is coming, well, then I'll come back again.
Thank you for your contribution. This is what I said. It's not about criticizing or negative criticism. It's about facts. We need to get that hospital up and running. We talk about state of the art, not with the service. You can't ask a question. There's some of the nurses, they're absolutely gorgeous, really, really nice. I remember there was a nurse that saved me. She signaled to me from behind, I'm going to deal with you. When you go up there, they fail to realize these are sick people you're dealing with. You can't ask a question. You ask the doctor a question, and he look at you like, but this is my body and I need to know. That's why I'm here. How can I give you information? You're asking me all of the information, and I ask you, what is the problem, doc? And you don't want to tell me, or you can't tell me. Like I said, yesterday I sat and I listened to this young lady who lost her husband. It's sad. When she told me what happened, negligence, people are afraid to call it. We have another call online. Let's go to the phone lines and take this call. Caller, you're live on Your Views.
Hello.
Hello?
Good day.
Good day.
Good morning. I'm listening and I'm wondering if you realize that most of what you're saying, you're talking to more an issue of human impact or human resource as opposed to, well, the hospital might be in a state, but I don't think if you go into the hospital, the building of going to do everything for you, but the people probably who work there need to know better how to deal with people, with patients.
Well, I'm talking on a whole. That's what I'm talking on a whole. Hello? Hello?
Hello? Hi.
Hi. I'm not hearing you.
Yeah, maybe, you hear me?
No, I'm hearing you.
Yeah, maybe there's a shortage of workers. Maybe you need more persons on shifts and so on. We have a lot of these. I've had persons in my family who are nurses, probably doctors. It's just a matter of we getting the right persons, and even when you train persons, people don't see it as just a job.
Yep.
I will agree with you. There's a lot of maybe negligence in the system, but it's a matter of we, the people, needing to fix it. And one of the things that we tend to happen, and where you said there's political.
No, you're breaking up. You're breaking up. I want to hear this. You're breaking up.
No.
Yeah.
You hear me now?
Yeah, I'm hearing you better.
Okay. While you're saying it's not political, regardless of whose government it is in power, the Minister of Finance, Minister of Health, we have had two Ministers of Health at one time. It still doesn't change because they can't be there. And I remember one of our former Prime Ministers saying, deal with the functionaries. We have people in the places who are supposed to do the job.
Thank you. That's what I said. That's exactly what I said.
We tend to blame the wrong persons, and that's the reason why people get away with murder.
Mm-hmm.
And I sympathize because, as you rightly said, nobody knows when one of us is going to be the person who go to the hospital.
Definitely.
So what should we do?
Demand that it is done. It is. Let me tell you something. It's not. And I just like I said to you, it's not political. I am asking if the ministry is too big for you to carry, you have permanent secretaries, you have matrons, you have a chain of command that comes right up. You have chief of staff, medical chief of staff. You have people coming up who are supposed to be there. You have the administrator. Make sure you have the right people in the right position, because I can't seem to understand. You have all of these people there, and you go in and the situation is still like this. And I'm not saying it's how bad it is, because I can't express it. But all of these people that I asked yesterday, all of these people who are in positions, all of these positions have been created, and this is what you're coming to? They don't care. They don't care. The last person you speak to is the minister responsible for health. But at the end of the day, the buck stopped at him. It's a pity I would have lost that caller. I know that people are thinking, oh, no, it's not the Prime Minister. No. But I'm saying at the end of the day, the person who can make that difference is the Prime Minister. And Mr. Prime Minister, sir, this is constructive. This is serious. Please, I beg. You have to look into this. Let's go to the phone lines and take another call. Call your life on your views.
Yeah, good morning, Sandra.
Hi, good morning, sir. And how are you doing?
I am blessed.
Good.
I hope that everybody is listening to what you are saying. It's a shame that we send people up to the hospital to get cured. But instead of that, they send them over the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Hear what you said, your brother was about to get a stroke. And there are certain things that they was doing. He didn't get some fluid. He didn't get nothing to eat but bread and Vienna sausage and all kind of craziness. What you mean to tell me a doctor sent a patient in the hospital to get cured, and that is what they are treating them?
That's how they are treated?
I like to know. I don't use a little politics in here, Mr. So give me. What is the purpose that Dr. Martin is up there? I think the position for the Prime Minister, he should hand it over to somebody else, because his hand is full and he cannot handle each and everything. If he wanted to stay into that field, he should never go into politics and look after the people and be a medical doctor. And that is the only solution, I think. He has to give up one to help the citizens in this federation.
Let me tell you.
Everybody is crying out about that same hospital, and nobody is coming out and speaking the way like how you are speaking. I went to a doctor told me, do not let no person send you up to the hospital. The hospital is in chaos.
Sad.
They are coming out and saying, oh, the hospital, nothing wrong with the hospital, and the hospital is this. This is where you come in and you're speaking to the nation and letting us know this is what's going on up at the hospital. Everything break down.
Even more.
So, Minister, please take him up health or some other ministry and see about the hospital, because you're a medical doctor, and that's what the profession is supposed to be.
Well, you know,
look after the people.
I'm glad that he's a medical doctor, and I suppose he would have an understanding of what I'm saying.
That's in your field and stay in that field.
Well, I suppose that's why he accepted it, because he wanted to be there. But I'm saying, and this is not about politics. It's not about saying it's Palm and Labor kind of politics. It needs addressing now. This is serious. People are dying. People are dying. And it hurts me when I hear of situations. People are put in positions because of their political persuasions, and they don't know what they're doing. We have to stop it, not in health.
And the Bible says you're supposed to live 3 and 10. And look, the type of person that died in the 50s and the early 60s. And this is what you're speaking about. You're speaking about health, to keep your mother, your grandmother, your auntie, or whoever on the earth.
I don't see any. What if they can't change the physical structure now? Look seriously into looking at what we have. The nurses, the doctors, the attitudes, the cleanliness. I mean, you don't have to get a new building to have the hospital clean. Those paper that they have. What happened to those sheets? What about donations that you can go and ask for? The windows. I mean, blinds can work. Why you don't use blinds? Why are you using those? I thought it was tarpaulin. It's awful.
To go up there, you have to be carrying tissue paper for your own benefit.
It's sad. It's sad. And
it's supposed to be in the bathroom.
You have
the water taking in that walk-in. Where is the person to look after that there? Maintenance man.
And this is not just now, This has been happening long time. And it's getting worse, and it's getting worse, and it's getting worse. So don't say that I'm saying it now. It has been. I've had experience, and you heard in 2020 that the caller had an experience. It's been happening. the thing is that everybody's saying, everybody notices bad. That is something that they go on the platform, and people are sensitive towards that. And so you use it. Oh, we're going to make that change. The hospital is in a deplorable state. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. The health of the nation is the wealth of the nation. And you go in and look at where we are. It is awful. And when I say awful, it is awful. It's up there is not sanitary. It's not sterile. The things that are supposed to be covered, that's supposed to be sterile and covered, they're wide open. As a matter of fact.
Thank you very much for opening up a can of worms.
No, it was not kind of worms.
It has been there a long time, and nobody wanted to come to address it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your contribution. I think I
hope your brother get through in whatever you try to help.
No, if that's the case, then I take him out and carry him home, and I can fix him. Trust me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for thank you for your contribution. And I don't want people to get the wrong information. It's sad that I had to experience it. For me it was very emotional, and I'm not speaking from an emotional standpoint now. It has to be fixed. It has to be fixed. One of the only time I'll walk with a placard and stop people from going into JNF is now, because we have to get it fixed. Please, just even going up and cleaning up the place. The areas that are supposed to be storing junk, those junk are not supposed to be there in the first place. Get them out, clean it up. Clean up the place. It's filthy. For a hospital, it's filthy. And I don't understand how nurses could work on those kind of conditions. It's not right. It's really not right. You go in and the doctors sit behind the table. Patients are in there. Nothing. Nobody is doing anything. You have a period where you go and you just check pressure, check pressure, check your pulse rate, that's all you do. And you ask a question and they look at you as though you're stupid or you're trying to cause problems. We have to get it fixed. Please, I beg. This is not just for me, and this is not because my brother was there. I've heard people cry and talk about that, it was negligence, and I'm saying no, but I've seen it. A bottle of water and a bottle of orange juice made a difference. Our time is essential. That is of the essence when it comes life and death. It's just a breath. I've seen it, and it was just, you just asked the question. Let us then, you're a doctor, you're supposed to know how to improvise. You're waiting for something. You're supposed to have an idea of what else can pose the problem. You have his vitals, they're good. All of the other tests run good. Let's go for the phone line and take a call. Call it your life on your views.
Good morning, Sandra. I agree with everything you're saying, but I just wanted to make a suggestion. I was in a hospital overseas recently, and they have an organization that looks into grievances, patients' or families' grievances. Maybe that's what we need to, an independent body that looks into grievances. Mm-hmm. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you for your contribution. And these are the things that are necessary, because in order for you to make change, you have to have that information. But you have to give it to somebody who have an understanding and who really interested in it. Otherwise, it's just going to stay there. When people are going to come up with the excuse, in Trinidad or in Jamaica when I went, I see a line of this and a line. No, we're talking about St. Kitts. We can do better. We've been there before. People used to come from overseas to come to us because we had a very good healthcare system. What is happening now? We're talking about people's lives. Young people are dying. You go to the hospital, it's sad. And I say, you do not play politics with health. You put people there who couldn't do it then and who would not be in a position to do it now. No, it has to stop. Politics is destroying this place. People who are supposed to be in position, they are home, they're victimized, and people who are supposed to be home is in the wrong position. It's not right. That is why you have retired ages. You've worked hard enough and you've been in position where it's strenuous work that you've been doing. This is time for you to retire. Stay home. You want to place young people, you want them to get the experience, although they went to university and cheated. experience, they would learn. Experience is the greatest teacher. Put them in early. The old ones are tired. They can hardly walk up the stairs. They can hardly keep their eyes open. They're tired. You're having a conversation with them and they're drifting off. This is people's health. This is not a joke. Once you're dead, you're not going to come back. Let's take this last call. Let's go to the phone lines and take this last call. Caller, your life and your views.
Good morning, Dave.
Morning. Hello? Health is not the only area that has issues, huh? And I see it big time. And it's not just labor. I see it in all. And I have come very close, very, very close up to politics and politicians and the things that they do. It's sad. People go in and they're very vindictive. You have a problem with somebody, and because you think that you're in power, you can do what you want. You treat people as you like because it's your turn now. When the others were in there and they were doing the same thing, you had a problem with it. And you go in and you're doing the same thing because it's your turn now. But, you know, it's a message. All of us will have a turn. All of us. And at the end of the day, I notice it even more so now than ever. We all need each other. People need people. We are not an island. Everybody needs somebody. If I didn't go up there yesterday, what would have happened today? It's the same thing with you. Maybe you were in the right place at the right time, or somebody was in the right place at the right time and they saved you. We all need each other. Not because I support one political party and you are the other. We are all citizens and we all supposed to benefit from the land of our birth. When you're placed in a position, you're placed in a position to help, not to hurt. People are calling me on a daily basis and, oh, Miss Addison, I'm not in politics. Not in power. When there's certain people who were in there and then I could have asked, I could have helped. That was my position. Anybody needed a piece of land, I could have called because I had the connection. Somebody need help, I could have called because I knew who to call. I had the connection. Not for me. It was to help people, because sometimes it takes somebody else to do it because people look down on other people. And that is what I use. I use the ability to make that connection to help. And that is what we are supposed to do. Not go in there because you think that you're in a position that you could victimize and look at your name. Oh, my, Sandra Quilly Atherton now? Huh? Hear that name? Oh, you're in trouble. You supported Timothy. That's it. But I don't care because I'm not depending on anybody. And I would defend and I would support whoever I want to, because that's the privilege that I have. But if you want me to support you, then you have to do good, and I would support you. Do the right thing, and I would support you. And that's what politicians don't understand. Politics about people. It's about people. You make people, and I see that you're doing the right thing. Definitely, I'm going to vote for you, because I think that you would have done the right thing. But you want to go in and do what you want one term. At the end of the day, we all, whatever they do, whatever is done, we all are going to suffer. If things is in a good position, we are all going to benefit. If it's in a bad position, we're all going to suffer. And that is one of the reasons I do not want politicians or parties to fail, governments to fail. Government fail, we all suffer the consequences. That is politics. But you have a lot of loggerheads that follow politicians, and they're placed in positions because of the fact they are strong supporters of government. And that is one of the reasons why countries that are thriving end up like countries like Haiti, because of the people in power. These countries are rich in natural resources, but the people in power, they're greedy, self-centered, and vicious. And these are the people who are in there and bring down people. And because you want position and status quo, which I don't believe in, because we are all equal. And trust me, if humans would only understand who they are and how powerful they are, and that you don't need a politician to place you, then you would start to think otherwise. But there's a God in all of us. It was a pleasure. It was a very good Friday morning. I'm looking forward to next week, Friday. It's a beautiful Friday. And those of you, It's VAT Day. So those of you who had intention of buying something and wanted, 17% makes a big difference. As a matter of fact, I think it's just 10% that you get, but it makes a difference and it goes a long way. So I would say to you, enjoy, buy all that you need to buy at this time. The economy is very, very slow. It's not just in St. Kitts. The whole world is having issues. So we have to be careful of the way we spend. And we have to start saving for a rainy day because, trust me, around the corner it's going to pour. It's going to hail. We had hail in St. Kitts. It's going to even get worse. The information is necessary. This is what we need to be telling our people about what is really happening in the world and stop hiding it, because people have to make preparations for that. I see Devon is in, and so I have to be out. It was a pleasure. Them Times on 4th Street, Them Times Bar is a bar that you need to be on a Friday afternoon. It's a beautiful place to be. You can go there. I'm going to advertise. We're going to have a happy hour. I'm going to find out what price I should offer, or should I say it? Buy 3 for $10. 3 for $10. That's my price. Three for let's say 12. 3 for $12. So go to Them Times Bar on 4th Street. It's 3 for $12 Friday. Tell them if they don't want to do it, tell them it was advertised on WINN FM, and Sandra Creeley Atherton send you. It was a pleasure. Looking forward to doing this again next week. My name is Sandra Creeley Atherton. I'm clocking out. Stay tuned to WINN FM 98.9. Voices is up next.
Florida, Canada. Big up every kitty shot. When me fly go England, Europe, me have fun can done. But everybody know ain't no place like home.